Welcome back, guys, to Caelesti v0.16.3. This is the third sub-update for Caelesti v0.16. The reason why we are having a third sub-update, as you may see here, is that the original update for Caelesti didn't actually involve the Netherite tools. Now, it was actually framed as the big item update because I spent a lot of time remaking every single item that we'd made so far in the pack, ranging from things like flint to something like golden tools and even all the armor sets as well. Now, I've tried to carry on that trend a little bit today because I have been playing in 1.16 recently myself and actually started to get Netherite tools recently because I'm a god at this game. And yeah, they looked ugly as shit. So I was like, no, I need to make textures for these as well because I've gotten so engulfed in this new art style that I've created that I really, really fucking like, by the way, that now I see the Jappa items and I'm like, ew, like it's just not good. I just don't like it anymore. So this is my take on the Netherite tools. They are very drastic. I was always going to do something really, really interesting for these tools. I had a lot of ideas in mind. I tested multiple ways of making this exact style of texture that I'll explain in a second, but this is what I'm going with because it's my favorite one that I came up with so far. So first of all, we have the Netherite ingot. Immediately you can see that it has this very common situation here where the kind of seams of the ingot are glowing molten gold. My lore for these items is actually like, like my kind of like, what do you call it, headcanon or something like that. Everyone has headcanon for Minecraft, I'm sure. Villagers are all the same gender, and no, there's no genders in Minecraft. That kind of bullshit. Everything's like a cell, and this game is like, the cubes are cells. Are the cubes real? Are the cubes as real as a llama? Is that something we should be worried about? Probably not. But yeah, anyway, my headcanon for this is that Netherite is this kind of like magical, Minecraft goes for the medieval magical style. This kind of magical substance which basically means that gold cannot solidify, like it just becomes molten when it's kind of in contact with it. So this ingot is actually kind of like unstable almost. I got the inspiration for this idea actually from the unstable ingots from the old school. Oh, what was it again? Old school extra utilities. I was talking to someone yesterday about extra utilities, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, that's really cool. So yeah, basically, this texture that you can see in between the netherite just there is actually animated. All it is the gold, the lava texture that's been kind of retextured to kind of match the color scheme of gold, and then kind of put behind this now half opacity tweaked ingot. So what I basically did was remove the pixels that you can see here, and wherever you see the kind of like mid-brown pixels at the edges here, that is actually the netherite ingot but down to 190 opacity, and that trend kind of continues on with the tools here, as we'll show in a second, and I really like the effect it creates. When netherite came out, a lot of people did this. I will say, obviously, this is not an original idea. I think everyone has done this idea of like molten gold within netherite. But mine's animated, so it's nicer, is my main idea. So yeah, please buy into my scheme. Also, netherite scraps are darker now, just to reflect the same color as the netherite ingots. I haven't actually changed the ancient debris yet. It still looks like a brown pretzel, as you can not pretzel. I keep saying pretzel, like a Swiss roll. It looks like a chocolate roll. It looks dumb. I haven't changed it yet because I actually do really like the texture. The more I look at it, I'm starting to like it more and more. It's one of the more interesting textures in this game. Like, it looks kind of like a shell on the outside and then this spiral texture on the top. I'm very likely going to change the top and bottom texture because I'm not a massive fan of the spiral. I think it does look really dumb. But also, I don't know, like, I kind of like this now. I had an idea originally to change this to be like netherite ore, or even a different name entirely. But I like it. I don't know. I'm kind of getting used to it. Anyway, moving on from that, we have the swords and, not swords, the tools and the weapons as such. Now, I have gone with the idea still that netherite tools are upgraded from diamond tools. So basically what I did for all these textures is start out with the diamond texture and then either build on it or just change it and apply the tweaks to it. So usually beforehand, a kind of trend that I had with all the tools in this pack was that every single tool tier was different. Every single model is like every single texture, like shape, was completely different. So you would not have two swords that had the same shape, even if they would have the same kind of texture layout. It would be a different shape, and that carried on for every single tool, including the shovel, where the iron shovel and diamond shovel were separated by this tiny little point in the top corner that made it into a battle shovel. But yeah, that trend has been broken, unfortunately, because some of these tools are the same shape as their original, namely the pickaxe and the hoe. I couldn't think of anything to improve those. they're just the same shape. So unfortunately that thing has been broken. The diamond pickaxe and netherite pickaxe and diamond hoe and netherite hoe now share the same shape. but the texture's so different that it doesn't matter. Like, they look different enough as it is. Anyway, so the sword texture. What I did with this originally is I tried making it so that the molten part of the netherite was on the inside of the tool, like a single line running through the middle, kind of like how the Great Flame Blade works in Breath of the Wild. But I didn't really like it. I couldn't really get used to the texture shape, so I simply tried moving it to the outer edge, which is technically how this texture works, and just thought it looked absolutely awesome, and the animation just solidifies it. Like, again, it's so drastic, but I really like it. And again, we've used the same technique here of differing opacity throughout the sword. So kind of like in a way that is how I would separate the lighting of a tool texture. The netherite is kind of like separated through opacity. So you can see here that on this top part here, the opacity is completely 0. So this is just the bland magma texture that we've created for the netherite background. But then on the edges here, you can see we've got like the 60 and 190 opacity sections, which basically mean that the magma kind of like shows through a little bit, but isn't as obvious. And I think it looks really good. And that trend carries on to the pickaxe. So the corners where you'd be hitting blocks, those are kind of like more molten. And again, it transfers over really nicely with that animation. I think it looks absolutely sick. I think it looks beautiful. We also have the shovel, which now has like a more realistic handle on the back. Yeah, in my eyes, that's a more useful shovel shape. I don't know. It's just a way of making it unique. You start to struggle with these. The axe has a bigger counterweight on the back there. The axe is my favorite, by the way. I loved it. That was a mistake. I love this. I love this texture so much. Like, I was already in love with my diamond axe texture. I think it looks amazing, but this is just a step up. Like, it's so over the top, but it works. Like, everyone's been considering this update to be like the modded update of Minecraft, and my god, I love it. I love it so much. I've been playing 1.16 in survival. It's the best update in a long time. Like, I think everyone was expecting that because of how much hype there was when they announced that it would be another update, but my god, it lives up to expectations. It could do with a few more biomes, in my opinion. The nether could do with being a little bit bigger still, but my hope is that now that they've given us multiple biomes in the nether, maybe we'll get more in the future, maybe. But yeah, I love it though. Like, I love this update so much. It's such a good update. But yeah, netherite axe looks really cool. Easily my favorite one. Netherite hoe, again, is very similar to the diamond texture, only we've got this kind of like molten effect on the end of the hoe blade that does fade out as you go more into the hoe texture, as you can see there. I really like the way these tools look. Now, for some of you that are wondering, there will be an option in the future. I'm not going to spoil it too much. Some of you will already know about this, but I actually have a really interesting plan in the works. Some great guys from the Discord group are helping me create a resource, which I will not say too much about because I do want it to remain a surprise, where you will basically be able to pick and choose add-ons for Caelesti. And I've basically just given it away there. I'm sure you can already figure out what it is. I'm so bad at keeping... I should have made that more simple. Never mind. But yeah, anyway. So there will be an option in the future to have netherite tools that don't have the molten edge. I've already made the textures. In fact, I made the non-molten versions first and then used the non-molten versions to make these textures. So those textures are already done. I'm not going to release those just yet or even show you them, but in the future you will be able to download them as a secondary asset to replace these, basically. And yeah, moving on from that, we have the Nether Ice Armor. Now, unfortunately, I am lazy. I haven't made the model for armor yet. I've only made the item textures, and I haven't even made the molten item textures for the netherite armor. The reason for this is because I realized I wouldn't be able to animate the model until Optifine comes out for 1.16, which looks like it's going to be like 3 years away at this stage, considering that 1.15 isn't even finished yet. Yeah, so unfortunately netherite armor is a little bit janky. It doesn't fit the theme. So in the future, once again, we will have the molten version of netherite being in default Caelesti, and you'll have the option to switch out to these textures that you can see right here. And I haven't even bothered making the arm model yet. I could make a model to reflect these ones, but I kind of feel unmotivated now. I want to make the magma version. I've got an excellent idea in mind of how the magma version will look, and I just can't do it yet, so sucks. But yeah. Yeah, also the diamond texture has been swapped out now for the gladiator helmet, as you can see here. The netherite helmet has always been more interesting, and obviously the logic with these tools is that they're upgrades of the diamond set, so it made sense in my eyes if the diamond helmet was the kind of new Spartan texture to match up with the netherite helmet as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Block hasn't been changed yet, might change it in the future, probably won't. But that's kind of where we're up to right now. So anyway, yeah, really small update for Caelesti, hence why it's a sub-update. I was considering doing this for 0.16, but I put so much work into 0.16, I just wanted to get it released because I was getting fed up of it. I was working on like I worked on like one tool set per day, and each tool set took about 3 hours. Like honestly, like the armor took longer than anything else. I love making these tools. They're so fun to make, and I love my new style so much. It's so easy and fluid and precise, and it's so good. But the armor is a nightmare. The armor is a nightmare to make. Hence why I kind of like gave up with the Netherite armor. I'm just like, I'll make it in the future. It's fine. But yeah, anyway. Last note worth mentioning on this video: Caelesti is going to be taking a hiatus for a little while. I apologize greatly, but some of you will know that I have a server project which is starting in early June, and I am trying to finish off some of our data packs to get it working. SBS is the main culprit for time consumption. I have actually been making some performance upgrades to it recently, and it's working much nicer now, so we're getting closer to a v2.1 release with a working Blood Moon. Everything works really well, actually. The Blood Moon's actually going really nicely. It just needs a little bit more improvement, and also I need to kind of work on SGT and SMC as well, because those things are not optimized well at all, as I've recently discovered. But yeah, so unfortunately there's going to be no Caelesti for a little while, probably as much as 3 weeks, unfortunately. I do usually like to update this thing quite regularly just because I enjoy doing it. Caelesti is my favorite project, without a doubt. But yeah, right now I'm working towards this server thing because I love having a multiplayer server every so often, and I'm really looking forward to this one. So that does take priority for the time being, unfortunately. So if you don't see any Caelesti videos for a while, I do apologize, but they will definitely be making a return in the future, with probably quite a big update as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and v0.16.3 is now available on CurseForge if you are watching this video. And yeah, I would just like to say, for everyone who downloaded the previous update, 0.16.2, with the new Mojang loading screen, obviously that won't work in 1.16. It is an Optifine reliant feature. So yeah, so thank you for all the downloads that I had, because I think it's got like 140 plus downloads now, so that's incredible. So if you are watching, people who downloaded, thank you, you're awesome. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next showcase video, whatever it may be. Take care, bye bye, and bye bye. That didn't make any sense. Never mind.